The fashion moments aren't just for the fashion moments. You know, it's not like we're just getting dressed for fashion week or an award show. Like, the fashion moments are every time we put clothes on and we leave the house or not, but also for the athletes expand who they are, you know, outside of their game.
Hi, I'm Sali Christensen, the founder and CEO of Argent, a women's workwear brand. And this is Work Friends, a podcast for those who take their work, but not always themselves, seriously.
Work Friends.
Today on Work Friends, I'm joined by Courtney Mays. Courtney is an image architect whose client roster reads like my personal dream dinner guest list. Sue Bird, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Chris Paul, among many others. Courtney has been a lifelong sports fan, but came to styling A-list athletes in a more roundabout way, starting with a job in retail and working her way up. Courtney is responsible for some of the coolest outfits walking the WNBA tunnel today, and most recently in May styled 3 Liberty players as well as owner Clara Wu Tsai for the Met Gala. She's also the expert when it comes to suiting, which I ask her about as well. Her career is fascinating, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Now on Work Friends, Courtney Mays. Courtney.
Hi.
Hi. I can't believe we finally got to meet this week.
Same.
I'm so happy that we met, and now we're here.
I'm so grateful. It was a great meeting.
I'm grateful to you for all of the support over the years.
Thank you.
And love that our first extended conversation is going to be recorded.
We have so much to talk about.
We have a lot to get into and all my favorite things. But before we do, I want to hear about your biggest oh no moment this week. What's gone absolutely sideways and how did you handle it? And for context, we're recording during Fashion Week and Courtney's been here all week. So I feel like there has to be some story.
Man, let's see. I feel like I have a lot of oh no moments because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. So I think if it doesn't go like exactly how I dream it up in my head, I'm like, oh no, and everything's kind of falling to pieces. My oh no, I think, was actually not Fashion Week related, but I started working with Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes,
cool.
Which has been a dream. I'm actually a huge fan of her music. She's an amazing creative. But it was my kind of first time doing like costume design. I think I'm so used to like really working with tailors and kind of like honing in on the menswear tailoring of it all. So we had our creative meeting and we're kind of going through ideas. And of course she's like, we're down to like, we have armor and like all of these big ideas. But then when you get down to it, she's on stage, it's hot. You know, she moves a lot. There's lots of like guitar on, guitar off. And so I had these like very tailored suits and these very, you know, bold fabrics that don't have a lot of movement. And so I was like, okay, this is not working.
Were you there watching?
I was there, but I was able to pivot really quickly. We made these beautiful like caftans that were kind of perfect, and she could have some ice packs in the back and, you know, be more appropriate for these on stage moments. But it was definitely a learning lesson because there's so many different types of styling. So, you know, you can do personal shopping, you can do styling for ad campaigns, tunnel walks, obviously. But I think they all require different things. And so I had to learn very quickly in the moment.
Oh my, I cannot wait to get into your job. I have so much respect for stylists.
It's wild.
It's such an intense job, but it's like part strategic, part tactical, and like very demanding. I mean, you're schlepping.
Yeah. Oh my God. I am literally the number one schlepper. I could basically work at FedEx, actually, if I needed to quit my job.
but simultaneously, like, you're creating brand images for people and like reinforcing who they are, what they represent. So we're going to get into that. But first, I want to start back at the beginning. Okay. So you grew up in Cleveland.
Yes.
What was that environment like, and what stands out as far as your upbringing there?
Wow, I think Cleveland is an amazing city, very underrated. I grew up with a mom who was an international flight attendant, and my dad was a dentist. I still have both my parents, thank you, but they're both retired. I went to an all-girls private school from kindergarten to 12th grade. 1 out of 5 Black girls in my class.
Mm-hmm. How big was the class?
55.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Small school. We go back now, and I say if we ever have a daughter, I would love to move back to Cleveland because there was such an emphasis on women empowerment. You can do anything. You can be anything. And there was a constant emphasis on education and also creativity, also sport.
In and outside of the home? Or
1,000%.
Okay.
My dad played in the NFL, but before I was even born. I feel like a lot of times I say that and they're like, well, how is it like going to games? I'm like, I have no idea. My dad played in the NFL in the 70s, and so sports was very much a part of my household, which is crazy because my mom hates it. Like the sound of a game, she's like, turn it off, turn it off. Like it's the craziest thing. But she was also really supportive. I played basketball, I played field hockey, I played lacrosse, all the things, because I think school kind of pushed that. Also, I'm 6 feet tall, so it was kind of like, you're going to play basketball.
Yeah, recruiting you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Fully thinking I'm going to be like the next Lisa Leslie, and meanwhile, I'm terrible. But yeah, I had parents who were unquestionably supportive of whatever my endeavors were, and that were also very serious about my academics and very serious about my extracurricular. Like it was like, you're in piano, you're in karate, you're in sewing classes, you're like, I had to do all of the things. There was no question about it. There was no fighting back. And of course, you know, as a kid, you're like, why? I just want to go play with my friends. But in hindsight, it was the best experience.
We have a lot of women on our podcast talking about work, and there are like some themes that come up, and this is one, which is parenting and how supportive and like empowering most parents have been. Because I was raised similarly, where it was like, just you have to be independently successful, like you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Education is everything. We just want you to be happy, but like you're gonna work.
You're gonna work. Yeah, that was not up for debate, and I respect it, and I'm totally and fully grateful for that.
Yes, and I think sports are so good too for like shaping a good work ethic. So 1,000%. Even if you're not, you know,
good, you're not gonna go professional. Yeah, you learn teamwork, you learn hard work.
So speaking of, what were you thinking in terms of career, or were you even thinking?
My dad was a dentist, and his brother is a urologist. His other brother is a general practitioner. So I was like, you're going into medicine. I was kind of interning at my uncle's doctor's office in the summers, and, you know, thinking that's kind of the world. I love kids. So I was like thinking I'm going to be a pediatrician, but not understanding. I think so often when kids talk about what they want to be, you don't know, like, well, what does that look like day to day? And what do you actually have to do? Now, as an adult, who's somebody who does not like public spaces and is a little bit OCD and crazy, like to be in a hospital all day, I would be losing my mind right now. And then to like have to give shots or something like that. And so it's a no-go for me. But I think once I got to college, also academically, I wasn't really doing well in like biochem or
None of us were, don't worry.
No, absolutely not. But I think what happened is my parents really empowered me to lean into things I actually really loved, because then my grades would reflect that. So started with trying to go into medicine and turned quickly into art history, which still to this day I love. I hope, you know, in my Blanche years, my Golden Girls years, I can be a curator, or hopefully Candace and I can start really getting into our art collecting. But I thought I was going to be an art dealer or a curator or something. I moved to New York with the intention of doing the Sotheby's master's program.
Where were you in school?
At University of Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good program.
It was a great program, and I had a professor there. Her name was Dr. Jacqueline Francis, and she really connected me to the art world and really got me interested in the history of art, the way that Black history is so connected to art and culture, and I immediately fell in love.
First, I want to say you would have been a great pediatrician. I feel like I just want to like footnote that.
I still love the kiddos, but no.
I do love when people like platform teachers that have like informed the direction of their career, because those are such important roles and such integral moments. In college, I was I didn't know where I was going, you know?
Yeah.
And not necessarily focused on classroom or academics.
Yeah.
But I think so much happens outside of the classroom at that age that is important in like
1000%
building who you are and who you become.
Yeah.
So you didn't set out to be a stylist. We're talking about you studying art history. Did you have any relationship with style starting from a young age? When did your love of fashion, I guess, develop?
Honestly, my parents, really. I think watching my mom get dressed at 4:00 in the morning in her uniform, which was very menswear inspired. There was a 3-piece suit that she wore with a lanyard that kind of felt like a pocket watch. Also, my dad is really well dressed. He wears a little onyx pinky ring and always has these very like cool ties. I think I was aware of it. I don't know if I thought it was, you don't say your parents are cool, but like now in hindsight, I think those little moments and interacting with them in those ways kind of like opened my eye for like the importance of style and the ways that it impacted us. Also, I feel like in Black culture, like style is so important. Like we get dressed up. We call it our Sunday's best, but I think it's important for us as a community to show up as our best self. So I think I was always kind of aware of that. At college, I met one of my closest friends, Christian, and we became co-presidents of like the fashion club or organization at Michigan.
Okay.
And so we hosted a fashion show. We had like an editorial. If you look back at it, it's probably terrible. We thought we were Anna Wintours. I fell in love with the process of putting on a show, putting on an editorial, having photo shoots.
Way to bury the lead, yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. And I feel like I rarely ever talk about it, but it was called Noir. We thought it was ridiculous.
No, but we also were similarly aged. That was a different time.
Yeah.
College was a different experience than it is now. Like the internet wasn't what the internet is. Phones weren't what phones are. Our relationship with them wasn't the same. Social media hardly existed, if at all.
Yes.
So we were doing more creatively, but I look back at early Argent days even, and I'm like, oh my goodness,
like, what was happening?
Yes.
Yeah, there was definitely like a dance break in the middle of the fashion show that included Beyonce. It was bad,
obviously,
but yeah, Christian was doing like "Baby Boy," and saying, "Oh my my," like it was. But I do feel like that kind of shaped at least my understanding that there was career opportunity in fashion, because I didn't know. I just was like, oh, this is fun.
Well, what were you, and you mentioned Anna Wintour, but were you reading magazines, looking at anything for inspiration? Yeah. Like, where's that coming from outside of culture, obviously? For
sure. Sex and the City.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was a huge influence. My mom, also being an international flight attendant, would always bring me back fashion magazines from all over the world.
That's cool.
So I was like, and I was so excited to get them, because the ones that were like from Europe or from Asia were so thick, and like you would see things that you would never see in the American ones. So that was a huge influence on me, and I always was so excited for her to bring those back. I don't know. Also, like, I've also been a huge student of like fashion history, so I'm like loving sort of those Gilded Age moments, just out of just genuine interest. But like I like to study like what people were wearing and what that looked like and how that kind of cycles back to now. So I think those were, and maybe because I was studying art history, that was kind of part of it too.
Totally.
Yeah. Other than that, I think, if I'm being honest, Christian, my friend, he had a huge impact on the way that I fell in love with style. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you moved to New York after graduating?
Yeah, we moved to New York together.
At Sotheby's, is that what you said?
No, so I completely, Sotheby's off the table. My parents were not excited by that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. I lied and said I had a job. I think my dad probably knew that I was up to whatever. And so he was like, here, I'm going to support you with this amount of money, and then you have to figure it out. Which didn't really happen because he's like literally the most supportive person. And I was like, can I have $20 every 5 minutes?
Yeah,
but,
yeah. 20 used to get us a long
used to
way.
go a long way, right. So I said I had a job at Tracy Reese. I started to follow her while I was in college. Now you're making me remember things. So I also worked at a boutique in school called Posh, and she had like Tracy Reese. She had so many like designer, like middle of the range brands, and so I worked there, and so I fell in love with it. But again, I'm a plus size girl. I couldn't fit a lot of it. So it was me sort of like loving it from afar. But Tracy Reese was one of the brands that had my size. So I was like, I'm going to go to New York and work for Tracy Reese. So I lied and said I had a job, didn't have the job, but then got a job at the store.
Oh,
so it kind of just, I manifested it in a very shady way, but
I don't think it's that shady. I actually think, like, I've had to, in building Argent, I've had to tell stories that aren't real.
Yeah.
Before
they
make
actually
them
happen.
real.
Yes.
It's a very strange backwards way of manifesting something, but it's like, it's necessary.
Works. Yeah. So I worked at Tracy Reese, and that was a lesson in the business of fashion for me. Because at the time she was still a small brand, I was able to work in the store. I remember I was kind of doing the VIP client. So Rachel Ray, the TV host, the chef, would come in, and she was my client, and I would help her put looks together. I would dress the mannequins. I would be able to go and work in the PR office. I would go to like the magic show and like all the wholesale shows, and like I was like, I'll do everything.
This is so millennial.
Yes. So that became like my entire world, and I loved it. I remember there was a restaurant next door called Frederick's. It was a French restaurant. It was in the meatpacking district. We would go there after work and have cocktails. I thought I was Carrie Bradshaw. It was ridiculous, but
what an amazing time, though.
It was such an amazing time. And there was no Instagram.
Totally.
There was maybe Twitter at the time, but we were just like in it.
And the stakes are so low. You're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
You're working in New York in fashion.
Yes.
I mean, it's very glamorous.
You're making little to no money, but you love it.
Yes. And you're working. Like, you're really having to work hard, I feel like, to earn those experiences, too.
1,000%.
So you had experience almost immediately, it sounds like, working with Tracy Reese herself, right? Because a small company,
I think
you get
I
exposure
met
to
her months into working there. So it was quick. Like, I was able to connect with her. I think if she walked in here right now, she might not have no clue who I am, but like, she had such a profound impact on my life.
Yeah. How long were you there?
Maybe 3 years. No, I don't know. Time is weird for me. Maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, I'm like maybe perimenopausal at this point.
I'm
my memory is garbage.
I was there for some time.
Yeah. Because then you worked with Rachel Johnson, a stylist.
Yes. So a girl who worked at Tracy. You're making me like remember all these things. Her name was Simone. She worked for Rachel, and she was like, she's a nightmare. It's Devil Wears Prada. It is awful. I don't sleep. I hate it. She's crazy. All the things. And I was like, I think I want to do that. Like an absolute insane person. Sounds great. Sign me up. So I sent my resume in, and I literally the next day, which is so crazy because now we're kind of peers, I was interning for Kellyanne Barnett, who styles Usain Bolt and DJ D Nice, and used to style Dwayne Wade. And she was styling Sierra for like Jay Leno or like one of those nighttime talk shows. And I was like the intern in the car waiting, because in New York you can't park anywhere without paying. So I'd have to wait in the car while she went up and did the polls, literally the next day after I turned my resume in. So that was like the beginning of the end, I guess. The beginning of like
styling and
my
getting
whole
into
news story.
Yeah, Rachel Johnson too, because did you go from here then to?
Yeah, so Kellyanne was Rachel's assistant.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to give people context. She's known for working with LeBron James, Mari Stoudemire, Victor Cruz.
Yep.
I mean, like iconic athletes.
Yeah. I think for me, and I would say if people did it right or spoke about her in the right way, she is sort of at the forefront, or like the godmother of the convergence of sport and style, specifically basketball and style. She was kind of the first person that was publicly saying these athletes have value. We should be talking about them in luxury spaces. We should be dressing them in all the brands that we love, and that the fashion world should respect them as influencers and tastemakers. And she was really at the forefront of those conversations. And so I was excited to work for her. She worked for LeBron at the time. I'm from Cleveland.
Oh,
so
can't imagine.
It was like, this is what I'm going to do.
And I think working with athletes, and you can speak to this more than I can, but they're used to having coaches.
Yeah.
They run on a schedule. They're really, it's really enjoyable oftentimes. They do have a standard, like a very high standard, and they expect certain things, but they really show up in a way that can be more inconsistent with other industries.
Yes.
So there's something really appealing about that to me. I remember I met with Sue Bird one time, and she was there 1 minute before our meeting, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, I'm not used to people being... She's like, of course I'm on time.
Athletes
like, what?
do not play about time.
Yeah.
It's like, to your point, it's very... Because at the time, Rachel was working for athletes, but also musicians and actors, and the process was completely, totally different.
Totally. I can imagine. Oh, I kind of want to hear more about that. But before we get into that, I want to hear who your first styling clients were.
So it's so funny. She hosted like a vision board party for like her assistants and all the people that worked for her. And it's so crazy. But at the time, Chris Paul, Matt Kemp, and Kevin Love were on my vision board. And they are all, or have been, clients. My first client on my own under Rachel, when she was kind of like, I was still working for her, but she was kind of like, okay, this is yours, you can kind of take this, was Tina Charles. And so it's crazy now, full circle, I work with her again, but it was her and I, and this was before, you know, the W and the tunnels are what they are now. But I remember Rachel was trying to create these rookie training programs, because every time there's a new class of rookies, usually in most leagues, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think there's sort of a program or like a seminar that they go through. It's like financial literacy and like certain protocols that are important once you kind of get to the pros. And so we were trying to add style to that sort of seminar, and it explained to athletes the value of style and building brand and all of that. And so she was trying to create that program for the W. And Tina was kind of the first person that was like, yes, I understand style as valuable, and I understand the importance of building my brand off the court. And so she was like my first client. And then again, like full circle moment, like, you know, Kevin Love is basically, you know, part of the family now. Obviously, Chris Paul is a brother.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize Kevin Love was in your roster. What years are we talking when you start working with like Tina and Kevin and Chris?
So Tina, it was probably still like 2008, 7, 8.
Early. I mean, it's a long time at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I moved to LA in 2012. And that's when I started with Chris. And I think maybe Kevin a year later.
It's impressive. I mean, it's really
been some
impressive.
time. Yeah, I always say like I'm the old head. Like I'm fortunate this week, that InStyle event that we went to, and to see some of the new stylists like Amadi.
I love Amadi.
Yeah, she's so like I love that I can say like, hit me anytime you have any questions, like, because I'm realizing like I don't see myself as old by any stretch of the imagination. I'm never going to, probably, but like I remember what it's like to be 20 something 30 something years old and trying to still figure it out, and I'm 40 something still trying to figure it out. But I always want to make sure like if you have a question, hit me, like I'm available, because I think that part is so valuable. I think and not to say anything negative, Rachel was really great at training assistants. Like if you need an assistant, I can be an assistant. I think where I missed out was like having a mentor that could really teach me how to build a business. And I think that when you can have that sort of mentorship, I think it really helps you to kind of understand and develop who you are as a business person, as a woman, etc. And so I wish I had that. And I'm still like seeking out the mentorship. So anytime I see, you know, the younger girls coming in, Brittany Hampton, Amadi, like, you know, all the young girls, I feel like, I'm like, yes, call, like, I may not have all the answers, but I can at least, you know, point you in the right direction if I can.
I will say, like, it's very generous, and I do think that our generation generally does a good job of this. We recognize that all boats rise with the tide, and, like, your success and my success aren't mutually exclusive. And I think that's critical because, like, you only have so much bandwidth, you know, and you have, like, a confidence about you and a really solid roster. I mean, you have awesome athletes and musicians and talent that you work with. But I think it is really kind to help bring up that next generation too. But I also think it benefits the work and like everyone.
Same. I feel like, to your point, there's enough out here for all of us. Like there's so much work and there's so many opportunities. I think we are better together, 1,000%.
Yes. We've touched on this, and when you sat down, we talked about this. So given what I do, I have such an appreciation for stylists, and it's working in service. I think an element of what we do at Argent, we are in service to our customer, to the women that we get the privilege of dressing. What skills or traits do you think it takes to be a successful stylist? Besides the obvious of like having great style, I think there's so much more to it than that, actually.
For sure. I think a little of my job is like therapy also.
Totally.
I think, you know, you're there to help to elevate style and build confidence. So I think you're having these real intimate moments with people about fit. I mean, you know, they're in their panties sometimes, or, you know, men and women. Like, I think you're having real intimate conversations about fit. You're having real intimate conversations about, like, how we're presenting. I think especially with the W, I think what I'm really proud of is really trying to amplify the voices of the diverse range of women in the W. And so we have conversations about gender presentation, like literal text messages like, I think that's too masculine, or I think that's too feminine, and like, what does that mean, and what do those adjectives mean when it comes to getting dressed? For me, I don't think clothes should be gendered, so I feel like if you feel good and you're confident in it, then you should wear it. So yeah, I think I come to you with sister energy. Like, I want you to feel like you are with, you know, one of your family members or your closest friend. Because I don't have all the answers, and we may disagree style-wise, but I'm only here to help you feel your best self. And if I can come to you as a close friend or a relative, sister, and you can say, like, she only wants the best for me, then I feel like I've done my job.
I do think it's so interesting, like, where you find yourself. I would imagine oftentimes where it's you are in a successful relationship, you become a trusted confidant, but you're also with talent at some of their most vulnerable moments, or when they're about to step on stage, receive recognition, whatever it is. But you're there till the end because you're making sure that they look and feel great.
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine the types of conversations that you're having.
Yeah.
But we touched on this earlier. Like, I'd love for you to just elaborate on the role that, like, a good stylist plays, because I think it's so important that these time-constrained individuals outsource some of these decisions, but also partner to really, like, elevate, you know, their brand.
I think I'm 50% creative or strategist and 50% service professional. I acknowledge the fact that a lot of my job is about convenience. I think, especially working for athletes, you know, they're very much, you know, structured in their time. And my role is to make sure you get up and it's time for you to go to a game or an appearance, and your look is there, it's ready, it's labeled, it's, you know, it fits, and you don't have, it's one less thing that you have to think about. And so that service that I can offer, although yes, a very luxury service, I wish I had a me for me, I think is important, because I think they, you know, their focus is winning the game or, you know, getting to a certain title. So if I can use the creative part, which is to help to build your brand and to make sure things fit well and to sort of come up with an ideology around your presentation off the court, the field, the ice, whatever it is. Then to also help with the convenience factor of like, here's a garment bag, it's labeled with the date. Then I feel like if those two sort of sides of the world can converge in the appropriate way, of course things happen last minute and there's also always some shenanigans going on. But if they happen in the right way, then I feel like I've done my job as a good stylist.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm not the stylist that's trying to create the viral moments. Like, I'm not here to get you the newest, latest, greatest sneaker, jewelry, drop of something. I want to create timeless wardrobes, or I want to help you identify what your brand is that is lasting versus let's get the photo that's going to be, you know, this viral moment for 5 seconds and we're going to move on. So if I can do that and I can really help you identify what that is, and that might take time. Like, I think there's some clients where I'm like, oh, I could see pictures from a while ago. I'm like, oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, with time and persistence and a little bit of work, I think, you know, I always say I'm just here to help.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there are so many parallels with like what we do.
Yeah.
But a good stylist, I just think it's worth all the money in the world because like it makes you feel your best. It allows you to focus on the speech you're giving, the game you're playing, whatever it is. But you're also like reinforcing a brand over time, and what you're wearing is an extension of who you are.
1000%.
So it's how do you just consistently reinforce that?
I think also like I would love to have this conversation more with like the teams around the players because I think sometimes we forget like, okay, so she has to speak on a panel and it's like, oh, she just wear Nike or whatever. But like, well, if we can curate that a little better, like we'll make more of a statement. Or like, she's not going to be naked. Like, did somebody want to tell me that she's speaking on a panel? So I think those are real conversations that we have, or like I'm there to sort of help educate the team as well. Because it's like the fashion moments aren't just for the fashion moments. You know, it's not like we're just getting dressed for Fashion Week or an award show. Like the fashion moments are every time we put clothes on and we leave the house or not. You know, I think those can be opportunities to tell a story that can help build the brand, that can help, you know, to expand who we are as people, but also for the athletes expand who they are, you know, outside of their game.
Well, I mean, not to be crude, but it's like the marketability of that person improves when I think when they have the aptitude to do that, when they understand the value that brings.
Yeah.
But the simplest example is someone knows to come to us for like a bright colored power suit when they're going to be on stage, and every person in the audience remembers them by insert color here suit.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, and it fits well. And I think what you do really well is, one, you're size inclusive, and also I think, to be honest, like it's long. So I feel like, you know, you sort of work for all bodies because, you know, we can shorten things. We can't necessarily lengthen things. And I think that works when we're having conversations about people who are well dressed because it fits well. And I feel like Argent does that really well because you're getting the classic power suit that feels cool and interesting, any sort of bold color or not, you know, a classic. But it fits well.
But I do think what you're talking about is interesting too. Well, one, thank you. But I think what you're talking about, it intrigues me because we have customers and individuals who don't recognize the power of what they're putting on their bodies. And then you have people that do recognize it. And you're dealing with both individuals and then teams. And then like teams around teams. Because you've got, for some of these players, they're at a level where they have their own teams.
Yeah,
and then they've
agent
got,
and the
correct.
manager and the assistant and the brand manager and like there's
then
layers.
A front office and then maybe like a sponsor. So there are a lot of things to juggle, but not everyone understands the power of like what you put on your body. And so I imagine there are a lot of obstacles. So okay, I want to talk about going off on your own. At what point were you like, I want to start my own company, build my own portfolio? Like I'm already starting to work with people. I want to turn this into my own thing.
It's a little bit of a messy story as well. I moved to LA when Chris Paul got traded to the Clippers. And so he brought me onto his team. I I still was kind of not understanding the business of styling. You know, I was coming from being an assistant, and so I knew how to be an assistant. It was fairly recent that I realized, like, this is a business and not a hobby, or I'm not just, I'm here to help, but also, like, this is a business. And so I think it's interesting because, and it's a little bit embarrassing to say, but I've had some really great clients and some really big names, but I was still kind of operating like a volunteer. Not that I was doing it for free, like, seriously, but I think that it took for a lot of mistakes to be made, and a lot of, like, financial hardships and just, like, frustrations and resentment and just scheduling conflicts for me to be like, hey, okay, let's get the foundation of this together and really, like, move as a business versus, like, Courtney, your big sister is here to come help you get dressed. Because yes, I want to present that energy, but I also want to present, like, Courtney, the businesswoman that you respect and that you understand is here to do a job. So I guess to answer your question, maybe, like, last week, I figured out this was a real job. Yeah, I don't. It's interesting because I am still figuring it out, and that's, like, my most vulnerable, like, hot take. I am still trying to figure out, you know, how to pay assistants and how to schedule properly and how to, you know, do the real business admin part of it that's more important than, like, getting the good photo.
Well, it's interesting because being a business owner and having employees is different than being a stylist. It's different from being talent. Now, like, a lot of stylists, I mean, there are moments where you are the talent, you know,
which is awkward for me.
Yeah. Which I think the best stylist it is awkward for, but, like, there are just so many hats that you have to put on, and we aren't equipped to have the skill set to, like, fill the shoes of all of those roles, and just a lot of tough conversations with your talent where you're talking about compensation, I'd imagine, with individuals that are working for you that are probably having to have similar conversations with you. It's a lot. I think we're all still figuring it out. Outside looking in, like, you have dressed the biggest names in sports across and music. I mean, everything. But you lose perspective, I think, when it is your day to day.
Yeah.
And you become friends with these people too, which adds another layer of complexity. Like, there's just so much to what you do, and I have all the time in the world for it. So,
Candace made me do, really quick, something last year that was, like, so valuable, and I don't even think she realizes she did this. So we went through, like, my camera roll from every month so that I could remember what my project, like, what I even worked on.
Totally.
And I was like, oh my God, we did so much in a span of a year. But, like, when you're in the thick of it, you're like, I don't even know what today is. I don't remember. And then it kind of is, like, heartwarming because you're like, wow, like, I actually kind of accomplished so many things, and I forget about it as soon as it's over and move on to the next thing. And everybody's complaining, and, you know, so you're on to the next, you know, thing that you have to fix.
Everyone's
so you
complaining
forget.
Is my favorite.
Everyone's complaining.
Yes.
So now you have to fix the next thing. You're constantly putting out fires, so you forget to celebrate your wins. And so that was, like, such a special thing that she did, because I was like, oh, like, we actually are doing some good things here. There's something to, like, go back and be like, oh, this was actually fun. Like, there were some really great big moments, but we forget to, like, pat ourselves on we forget to give ourselves our own flowers sometimes.
I feel like the luckiest person in the world because we get to basically hold up a mirror to people like you and be like, look what you're doing. It's remarkable. But we get to study women's careers.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is very entrepreneurial. And so what I identify with is the fact that the goalpost is always moving.
Yeah.
And so you do, I think, lose perspective of, like, how much you're accomplishing because you have so much more in front of you. But if you just look at your past week alone, I mean, it's awesome. Like, it's fun to watch. It's fun to witness. But, I mean, I know we talked about Chris, but you really do have my dream roster of clients that you style. And I'm going to list some of them. But Sue Bird.
Yes.
Diana Taurasi.
Yeah.
So many women that play for the Liberty. Do you dress Sabrina? Did I miss this?
No, so I was hired by the Liberty to dress them
For the Met Gala.
Met.
Yes. Okay, so Clara, I'm obsessed with.
Obsessed. We saw her last night at Sergio Hudson, and I was like fangirling out, and she actually like came and got up to speak to me, and I was like, oh my God! Do you remember me?
They looked awesome for the Met Gala.
That was such a moment.
You dressed, it was Stewie, Jonquel Jones, is that who it was?
JJ, Jonquel, and Sabrina, and Clara.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. Stewie is on your roster.
Yeah, Stewie, Sue, Tina, Chris, Diana, DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns now a little bit. It's funny because like you have people that you work with like throughout the season, and then you have people that just pop in for like you know, an editorial shoot or an ad campaign. And so I kind of like those because you get a little remix of what you're used to, and then also you get some more inspiration. Like Carl's style is so completely different than like the people that I work with.
I'm really excited about him. He had a great playoff run too, and I was really rooting for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I do think that's also what's interesting is everyone has unique style. So you're building a look and a brand for each individual. And these are, I mean, for people who don't follow sports, iconic. Like Taurasi and Sue are just...
And also just like the most genuine, awesome women that I'm like excited to see. Like literally when I get to go and fit them for something or meet them for something, I am genuinely like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I haven't seen you. Like there's such a like, Sue 100% reignited my love for styling when I started working for her. Like she has no idea, but like it was during a time where I was kind of like, do I even like doing this? And her energy is just very just
calming,
but also like she is genuinely interested in understanding the process and open to trying things on and really empowering in a way that I don't even know if she realizes. So I'm always excited when she's like, hey, I have this. You want to dress me for it?
Oh.
And I'm like, yes, I'll be there tomorrow. Like, I'm so excited because when you have clients like that just make you feel like they understand the value of your work, but also just like really kind, awesome people. Like DT for the ESPYs, I was like, this is the fitting was fun. Getting her dressed was so much fun. Like it makes you want to work that much harder and make sure it's like right.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's a kindness to both of them. I've had like the pleasure of working with Sue a little bit, and I agree with, there's something about her energy that is different.
Yeah.
I don't know but there is like a real kindness to her.
Yeah.
And DT, like, she kind of shaped my work ethic. Like, she's someone I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And there's sort of like a zero fucks quality to her that's so
inspirational.
Yeah, well, it's like it's exactly what we should all be modeling.
Yes.
Because we're in a patriarchy. Like, it is bullshit. Yeah, you know?
It is. And she says it, and she's very clear about it. And I hope to be that one day that just literally goes off on everybody because she's valid, and what she's saying it seems obvious to us. And I think we need to scream from the rooftops when we deserve better. Well,
I feel for her too, because her flowers have been a long time coming, and I think she's getting them now, but she's been saying the same thing for decades.
1,000 years, yeah.
Yeah. How do you build your roster? Like, is it word of mouth? I mean, you're at a place where everyone knows you and you're iconic in your own right, but like, is it your...
Yeah, I think most of it, the sports world is really small. I think it's word of mouth for sure. I think in that, me making sure that this is a business and not a hobby, I think my new sort of goal is to start actually reaching out to people that I want to work with versus waiting for a phone call or, hey, my friend or my teammate, needs something. I mean, sometimes that works out. Me working with DeAndre Jordan was literally a result of him being on the team with Chris, and my friend needs something. And then we ended up sort of meshing well. And years later, I think he had a stylist at the time, but years later, he was like, I actually think you understand. Like, let's circle back. So I think sometimes that works out in my favor, but I think going into this new season, I think I really want to stand in like, what is it that I want and who do I want to work with and who do I feel like I can actually support, and being more proactive about, reaching out to those people. But yeah, I think sports is small. And I think what's cool about it too is that it's a lot of women behind like the front office, back office. I want to say women behind sports, but it's like women behind the men and the women. So it's like, all the managers and the agents and the PR and da-da-da, it's all women. And so I feel like we have this sort of unspoken community and camaraderie. You call somebody and say, hey, I know you work with such and such, like I'd love to connect, or if you need help with something, I think we try to stick together.
Yeah, we dress a lot of those women or know a lot of those women. It's my favorite part of really all industries is there are powerhouse women oftentimes that are like quiet and behind the scenes and not everyone knows. Clara is actually a good example
Claire's
of someone like that.
Claire's a perfect example of that. Like we were at the Sergio show and I was like, she's actually like the boss in here. Like there are all these celebrities in here,
nobody knows,
and nobody has no idea.
100%.
And I'm like, but over here, she's the boss.
Those are my celebrities.
Same.
It's like people like that. I'm like, who's doing what, you know? So this is a good segue, and we've talked about this a little bit, but what are the main differences between styling athletes and DeAndre Jordan is also a good, I think, example of what a difference would be, but between like an actor or a musician, because he's got to be like 7 feet.
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know?
I mean, definitely size is a real conversation. And I think because I'm plus size and like I really lean into no matter what your size is, you should have things that make you feel confident that fit well. And so I kind of I guess I lean into the talent that isn't quote unquote sample size, because I want to make sure like I can figure it out for you. So yeah, working with NBA players that are 6'9", 6'11", 7'1", definitely the process is different. There's a lot of things that are made to measure. There's a lot of time spent finding brands that either run oversized or that run long, making sure, you're getting the pants that are unfinished so that you can create the length. But also like educating the players, like, hey, yes, because you're 7 feet tall, like there are actually things that work for you. Like I don't ever want you to go into a space and feel like there's not something for you. I can only imagine, because I can't imagine what that 15-year-old kid was like that was 6'5" and went to a mall and didn't have options for them, because that was me. And so when I come in, I want them to feel like that would never happen when Courtney's around. So there's that. The size inclusivity is a real conversation around athletes, men and women. I also think we talked about this, but athletes are, they're punctual, they're structured. Their position around time is a lot different than in the entertainment world. I say all the time, like, I'm good on musicians. I don't want to be in the studio at 2 o'clock in the morning when you decide that you want to have your fitting. I've been there. And of course I was fun at 22 years old, but I think there's a little bit difference there. And also, like, for the NBA, there's 82 games in the season. There's a lot of work that happens over the span of several months in order to get all of those tunnel looks if you're dressing them for the entire season. And then on top of that, like whatever their appearances are or ad campaigns. I feel like with actors, they might have a stretch of a press junket where you need 5 or 6 looks, but I think the amount of clothes needed is less. For actors and musicians.
Speaking of tunnels, it's never been a more exciting time to be a WNBA fan.
Yeah.
You've been doing this now for 20 years, with the W, but it's pretty wild to watch the rise of fashion and style, like in particular, and tunnel walks, and how important those have become. And now that every brand wants to dress every athlete for that moment, because there's monetary upside and brand upside. So what's the most exciting part of that for you? And when do you feel like you're able to make, the most impact?
Obviously getting the photo I'm excited, because you're like, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, uh-oh, what happened?
That's the worst.
But that's the worst. I think that is exciting. I think also the hunt is exciting. You know, I think the misconception is that brands are really excited to dress. I think some brands are really excited to dress.
That's what I want to talk about too.
Yeah, I think we are still spending a lot of time educating the fashion community about the value of sport. I think the headlines would make it seem otherwise, because I think we're in the right direction. But I think that I spend a lot of time saying, hey, this is really important. This person really works for your brand. And really trying to find the brands that support athletes, and also me wanting to work with the brands that I want to support and that also like understand the value of this entire process. So that part is exciting for me. It's a little bit challenging, but I like a challenge. My biggest, like as a fan, I'm excited to see the diversity in style. I think that part is the coolest part about the tunnel. So you get to see from the mini skirt to a 3-piece suit. And I think that part is really cool because you can see a little bit of yourself in one of the players. So no matter what your style sensibility is or however you present, there's something there for you. And I think that's what's so cool about the W. There's like a little bit of everything there.
Agree completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that advocacy is really interesting, that the stylist role has to play when it comes to brands. Given the state of the economy and tariffs and this, that, and the other, and just like we're moving away from all the right things. Like I think that a lot of brands are backing away and just here's your sample size set and that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
That's so far from where we are, but I feel like we've wanted to dress athletes since like day one, but not just athletes, but and everyone around the athlete.
Yeah.
I just see it as such a no-brainer. Like
I love that.
it's awesome. It's
I
so
love that.
cool. But I mean, when you get brand pushback, how do you handle brands that just tell you no?
I think you just try again. I'm like the little engine that could. Like I think I'm disappointed in the moment, and I have to be like vocal about it because I think it's such a disservice to like consumers. I think it's a disservice to fans. I think it's also a disservice that like there's sort of messaging that's not aligned with the truth. The other thing is like educating the athletes about, you know, they're thinking we're the W, like where is the Louis Vuitton?
Everyone's lining up.
Like there's also a misconception about what we do as stylists and what that process is in order to get the clothes. And so sometimes you're like feeling bad because you're disappointing the talent who thinks people should be throwing clothes
That's
at
hard.
them. So it's like you're kind of playing both sides of the fence, trying to make sure that everybody's happy, or you're fighting to get things that, you know, aren't happening quick enough for the talent who's expecting, you know, the fashion gates to open for them.
There's a saying in business, it's good to have a short-term memory. And so I have heard stylists be on the record as like, I'll never work with this brand. And to me, that is like so the wrong outcome.
Yeah.
Because it could have just been the wrong person on the wrong day and you didn't like present, you know, the right package deal, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're doing your talent a disservice if you're like cutting out brands.
Yeah.
On a value, like if you're doing it for values, absolutely. If there's somebody that's like anti-DEI and like pro patriarchy and like pro white male, fuck them. But like
100%.
100%. But I think that if it's just like they see something that you aren't necessarily fully up to speed on and like it's not the right fit at the right time, that patience and like and persistence is like critical. But I do think on both sides there are some unknowns, and so for us we're making a gamble that these are like, I know that Stewie's someone that I want like seated at a dinner that I'm hosting or at a game that I'm anything that we're doing, she's like the embodiment of our brand. So are you. So is Clara. Like we're building this like roster of women that represent everything that we want to support and we want to succeed. And so for us, it's a much more straightforward choice because it's like maybe it doesn't turn into anything, but maybe in 10 years.
What it represents,
And what it represents is everything.
That's really interesting because that's really interesting because I'm always wondering like one, why do you get no's? And no one really has that conversation. It's like,
No.
not at this time. Thank you for your interest.
Yes.
And there's been a couple times I've literally said why.
Yes.
To no response.
No, you won't get it, I don't think.
But yeah, thank you for that, because I feel like I'm constantly trying to figure out like the full circle moment of it all, and I don't want to assume anything. And of course, I agree with you. Like, don't ever say I won't work with that brand, but I think in the moment you're like, come on.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So Stewie's like one of the best.
Or even Chris. Like, how are you saying no?
Yeah.
He's like literally one of the best players of all time. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think for some brands, it's like they're dressing who is like Gracie Abrams and Austin Butler, if you will, or whatever. And like that's like really converting. And so they're looking at it in, I think, a more black and white kind of way.
Got it.
So I think it's just a matter of like figuring out.
I used to say all the time, like, and I could be completely wrong, and now us having this conversation, when I was talking about like the NBA, men aren't watching the Oscars red carpet or the Emmys red carpet and saying like, I want that tuxedo. But they might watch Shay or Carmelo or somebody walk the tunnel and be like, oh, those jeans are cool or whatever. To me, in my mind, like, okay, that's more valuable in terms of like converting to dollars. But it doesn't, maybe that's wrong.
Well, I don't think it's so straightforward, and I don't think it's always predictable. Like, Kendrick Lamar moved how many jeans, like flare jeans.
And every brand was like, now we're making flare jeans.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I just think it, like, I think that it's become more saturated. It's harder to figure out, but there are workarounds, I guess. Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't know. Yeah. And I also think athletes for a long time have been trying to figure out like what that unlock is, because fashion is tricky. Like fashion's really difficult. It can be quite exclusive, like, better than I do. It has a whole litany of reasons as to why it's problematic. But I also think the match made in heaven is like LeBron James, insert brand here, insert moment here. And if you get it all right, it's like magic, So I have to ask, because you're the expert. So many of the clients that you dress love to wear a suit. So what are your top 3 tips for styling an incredible power suit look?
Oof. Fit is paramount. I think even if you have to go to your dry cleaner down the street, you make those small tweaks. The waist, the rise, the hem. I think that can take a suit that is a few bucks or a suit that's thousands of dollars and make it feel custom or, fit to your body. I think also not paying attention to the number. I think sometimes it's cool, like, wear the thing that's oversized. Like, each brand is graded differently. So, like, you might be an 8 here and a 10 here and a 12 here and a 6 there. So, like, pick the thing that fits well and not pay attention to the tag. I love a double breast suit every single time. It is my choice every single time. With a wide leg trouser, I think that is the chicest, most timeless silhouette. It gives me like Rat Pack, but also like 70s Bianca Jagger, or like all the things. So I think I'm always going to say like the double breast suit that's with the wide leg trouser. I also think that a 3-piece suit will give you multiple outfits. So if you have that one great 3-piece suit in your closet, you have, one look. You have the jacket with the trouser, you have the jacket with the vest, you have the jacket with the vest and a pair of jeans, you have the jacket, like, it's like one of those capsule things that you can wear 1,000 times. I think a great white t-shirt looks great under any suit. I think a pair of white sneakers looks great with any suit. You don't always have to do a heel, or even though I'm obsessed with these that you have on.
Thanks.
Are they Margot?
Jacquemus.
I should have known that. They're so good.
Yeah. I know I scuffed them, but I'm like so obsessed with them.
I think that's even better. I like love the shoe that you've had forever. Yeah, I'm like I think the suit is the staple. If somebody said like, what's the thing you should have in your closet? And I know like a white t-shirt, a pair of jeans, but I think a suit. Everybody should have.
Agree completely. Yeah. Well, it's just intuitive too. Styling. Yeah. competes with a dress. I think dresses are very popular because they're so easy to just put on in style. It's like a full outfit, but suiting is
the best. And I feel like I always shop in, I shop in looks, and I feel like I like sets because it's instant outfit. And so I feel like the suit is like the ultimate set. You're just getting that instant outfit that can be styled in so many different ways. And especially, like, I think it's cool to get a bold color, but if you have like a great gray, a gray suit, a great Glen plaid, a black, a navy, something that is like a timeless neutral color that can go with everything, you're good to go.
Agree completely. Okay, I want to close out by asking for some advice, more advice.
Okay.
If someone's listening today and they want to be a stylist, to build a roster of clients and be their own boss, what would you tell them to do? And what's one step they can take right away toward their goals?
If they want to be a stylist, I think...
good luck.
Good luck. Are you sure?
You still have time to back out.
I think don't be afraid to intern and assist. I think learning in real time, I think, is so important. I think there's so much, especially with social media, there's so much illusion around what a stylist is. I think you have to actually do the job and sort of assist around the project to understand the process and get to know what that actually means. I spend a lot more time in my storage unit in the back of FedEx than I do on a red carpet or, at a basketball game. So I think that's a real thing. I think finding a mentor is really important, and somebody that's going to really champion you and help you understand, help you answer the hard questions. And I think don't be afraid to reach out to like your favorite stylist, creative. You might not get a response right away, but I think, the person that does respond is going to be the person that might, be your next mentor or, help you kind of figure it out. And also don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think that's something I'm teaching myself. I didn't grow up with Instagram, Twitter. I remember when Facebook started. So
same.
I'm like having to remember to post on social and do all of that. And I think if you're a creative or if you're wanting to start a business, I think you have to be open to putting yourself out there and showing the world like what you're made of and what you're into and your thought process and maybe, that little post will get some eyes on you. It's crazy the world we live in, but here we are.
It's great advice, though. It's great advice, and it's transferable, I think, across a lot of industries. I did forget about that piece of it when we were talking about all the hats that you wear. The fact that you have to create your own social media presence and sort
it's
of
like a whole nother job. There's whole content creators, like that's their job. But I get in trouble a lot because I'm like forgetting to post or to even take pictures.
Same.
I'm like, but I was doing the job. I was steaming the clothes. Like I didn't think to take a picture of myself doing it.
Totally.
Or have, whoever's around do it. And I'm so grateful because Candace will sometimes jump in.
Yeah.
But I think because she knows that I'm like terrible at it and she only wants the best for me. And I try to do the same for her because we don't like... So now I have to hire a social media manager. Like it's all very confusing, but I understand the value of it. And I think putting yourself out there and not being afraid to, and standing in your power and being authentic about, your creativity is so important. And for us 40-some-year-olds, just remember to post.
Yeah, I am you. I mean, I go to things and I'm like, not a single picture? That's cool.
Same.
Or it's blurry.
Same.
Awesome. Yeah, no, same.
I'm like tongue out. Like I'm a mess.
It's, I'm that. But I think that comfort with rejection is so critical. Because, and I mean, you've said it a number of times, but like you are inevitably going to get no's and you should be getting no's. If you're not getting no's, you're not doing what you should be doing. Yeah. Correct. Brands should be telling you no's. Talent that you want in your portfolio should be telling you no. Yeah. Team members should be telling you no. Like everyone you should be getting a lot of no's and you just got to get comfortable with it.
1000%. And you have to be comfortable saying no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think
definitely.
that part that was also a very big lesson.
I'm in my no era right now.
Same.
And I love it. Okay. So we've come to the end of the episode and it means it's time for my favorite segment. Would you rather?
Okay.
Quick rapid fire. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Would you rather start work at the crack of dawn or burn the midnight oil?
Crack of dawn.
Would you rather go back to school to learn a new skill or teach what you know to a class of newcomers?
Go back to school.
Oh, I was going to guess you were going to say newcomers.
Teach.
Yeah, teach. Would you rather forget your styling kit at home or forget your phone at home?
I forget
The
both
anxiety.
often.
No, really?
Literally, we were just saying, so like this week I'm sort of the talent, and I'm like, if I was here working for people, I'd have like my whole kit. Us getting dressed, I'm like, not a piece of tape, a safety pin, like nothing. So I think my styling kit, because I can make anything. We ironed a skirt with a flat iron this morning, so we can make anything work.
Okay. Would you, not leaving that phone though, would you rather attend the WNBA finals or the Met Gala?
The finals, 100%.
Did you go to the Met?
No, I was the one outside, like,
Yeah.
Stewie, look at me.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a very funny photo of me, like, carrying her through the rain into the Met Gala, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot that it kind of drizzled.
Oh, it was hilarious, and she was in all white, but we
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah, they looked great. Would you rather meticulously plan every outfit or leave room for improvisation?
For myself or for clients?
Clients.
Meticulously plan every outfit.
And yourself?
Sweatpants.
Improvisation.
Yes.
Would you rather only answer emails with emojis or only answer calls on FaceTime?
Oof. Emojis, because my FaceTime could get crazy.
Would you rather wear the same outfit every day or never wear the same look twice?
Same outfit every day.
Would you rather accidentally leave your mic unmuted or your camera on?
I think my mic unmuted, because that would be hilarious. But I would get in trouble a little bit.
I've gotten in trouble. Would you rather start a career as a stylist in the early aughts or in the present day?
Present day.
But you're taking all you know now, aren't
Yes.
you?
I think it's like the hindsight. Now I can start over fresh. Yes.
This wraps our episode. You're amazing.
Thanks for listening to Work Friends, a podcast from Argent. Listen and follow on all podcast platforms and subscribe to the Argent YouTube channel for more clips and bonus content. Plus, email your work questions and dilemmas at workfriends@argentwork.com for a chance to have one of our amazing guests weigh in with advice. I'm Sally Christensen, and we'll see you next time.
Work Friends.
Work Friends is produced by Gina Marinelli with editing by Ryan Woldoff. Our theme music is by Karina DePiano and Melanie Naima. This episode was recorded at Podhead Studios in New York, New York.